Good morning. 7 a.m. here in Australia on a beautiful sunny day. And I woke up early this morning as usual and felt like there was something that was sort of floating around in my mind that I thought was really important that I share with you. Because here's the thing, if you want to dominate your industry, if you want to really have the level of impact that you know you were born to have, you know then there's something within you, there's a message within you that is so vital, that is so important that you've got to get it out there. And yet, you might feel yourself sort of holding back. You might feel yourself like maybe you're not good enough. Maybe your message is not strong enough to share it with. Maybe you don't have the level of experience or the PhDs or the whatever it is to talk about this thing that you know you have to share. It's your message and you hold it back. So why do you think that is? Why do you think that we have this sense of being, this knowing that we're supposed to deliver something important, something extraordinary and valuable, and yet we don't? Why would somebody not let that out? And the answer is, of course, because there's an internal battle. On one level, we might feel like this is a vitally important message. And on the other side, we might feel like, well, who am I to share this message? So here's what I want you to know. At some point, because you're human, it happens to us, at some point you were shamed. Now you don't have to go looking for with your therapist, the specific event, although you can if you want, but you don't actually have to do that. You just have to know that that's the truth. Not for you, not for me, but for all of us, or pretty much all of us. At some point, we got shamed around something, and it might have been a very direct and mean and cruel shame. It might have been a very subtle shame, but we got shamed around talking about something that we felt strong about. Because, when we get shamed around things, particularly when we're children, it's like, well, what do you know? You're just a kid. But that sticks in our head. You see, the unconscious mind has no chronology. It has no clock. So that message of what do you know stays stuck in your head, and you end up feeling like, oh, maybe I don't know enough. But here's what I want you to understand. Is the antidote, if you will, for shame is not courage. We think it's courage, but it becomes courage, but it's not courage first. The antidote for shame is actually your vulnerability, your willingness to feel pretty much like really nervous and maybe even a little terrified about sharing your message, your thing that you need to share. But that is the antidote to shame. Because in that stepping forward into the vulnerability of sharing your message, you discover your courage. You discover how courageous you can actually be. You see, the very thing that it is that you are shamed about, the thing that you need to share, I don't have to agree with it. People don't have to agree with it. But I promise you there's somebody out there who needs to hear it. There's somebody out there who needs to hear your message, who needs to know what it is that you have to share. And when you get to share that, you lift up somebody else's life, and maybe, just maybe, you move them out of shame too. I'm suggesting to you that the very thing that you feel compelled to share is the thing you must share. And as much as you will have that message inside of your head that you are not good enough, not qualified enough, not enough, is actually a lie. It is your very experience that has brought you to this knowing, this sense of being, this desire to share what it is you desire to share. It's that very thing that tells you how vitally important it is that you share what it is that you need to share. So what I'm suggesting to you is this. I'm suggesting to you that you face your own shame, that you step into the courage needed by entering through the doorway of vulnerability. By entering through the doorway of vulnerability, out of the darkness into the light, and share what it is that you feel that desire to. Because when you do that, You will tap into your deep greatness. And when you do that in the context of what it is that you do, you will dominate your industry, because there is nothing more powerful than your vulnerability. Your vulnerability is the magnet. It is the most attractive thing there is, because in it people see themselves, that it's in your humanity, in the sharing of your humanity, in the willingness to own and claim that humanity, those imperfections, to fumble your way through, that others can see themselves in you and feel inspired. Because for every slick and word perfect speaker that there is out there, for every slick and word perfect messenger that's out there, there are 10,000 others who need something not from somebody who's slick. I know, I spent years trying to be slick, trying to be perfect, making sure that I had the right words in the right frame, in the right way. And here's what I know. I have delivered those speeches, by the way. I have delivered those presentations where my presentation was so perfect, word for word, rehearsed, well known. And you know what happened? At the end of it, people applauded. They stood up. I got standing ovations. It was, it was a magnificent response out there. But in here, within me, within my mind, within my heart, within my soul, it felt empty. And when people stood and spoke to me afterwards, I could tell there was something different. There was something missing in the way that they communicated with me, versus when I had gone out and been imperfect. Now, do I know my subject? Of course I know my subject. Have I done my research? Of course I have. Have I got the experience? Of course I have. And you might go, well, I don't have those things. Well, you're not trying to be me. You're trying to be you. But when I deliver it from that place of deep vulnerability, that's when I own my audience. Whether it's an audience of 1 or an audience of 1 billion, it wouldn't matter. It's in your vulnerability is the power that allows you to step out of the darkness of shame and own the light of the difference that you can make in this world. So if you want to own your industry, if you want to become the best of the best in what it is that you do, you will have to look into your shame and enter from that into the world of courage via the doorway of vulnerability. That is where your power is. That is where the difference you can make lies, so that you can access your deep greatness. My name is Dov Baron. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I want to thank you for paying attention. Till next time, stay curious, my friend. Stay curious about the power of vulnerability to overcome your shame. Dov Baron, fullmontyleadership.com, and I am out.